This is for the Witches Brew Mug Rug. Go ahead and hoop 2 layers of water-soluble stabilizer. Your first stitch is going to do your placement stitch. Take your fabric and some batting, and I have my fabric. I'm going to center that over the cauldron placement stitch, and then I'm going to do the tack down. And the next stitch is going to be inside of the cauldron, so you can make it matching or contrasting, whichever you like. I'm going to use white. It's a stipple stitch. Next stitch is going to be for the pot for where the liquid goes in the cauldron. So you can see it. This is just the placement stitch for where you'll add the fabric. Stick that down. The next one will be a tack down. Go ahead and remove it from your machine and trim around the outside and the piece that you just stitched on. This is what it looks like all trimmed up. Then next it's going to stitch the bubbles inside of here. I'm going to do those kind of a fuchsia color. Next it will do the satin stitch around the inside of the cauldron pot. And I'm going to do that a black. next stitch is doing a decorative stitch on top of that. You can either skip that or do that if you'd like. And I'm going to do that, the fuchsia as well. Alright, the next stitch is Witches Brew, and I am going to do witches in this same color, the fuchsia. Now it's going to stitch out brew, and I'm going to do that in the green. Okay, so now that that's finished, you're going to remove it from your machine, and you're going to take a little walk. Sorry if it moves. And you're going to turn it over. Trim any threads that you might think would get in the way. So like at the beginning here, just remove some of those threads. I like to use lint rollers. Go ahead and spray the back of your fabric and put that on there, or you can also use some tape. You can use painter's tape. Okay. Then you're going to reattach it to the machine. Excuse me. The next stitch is just going to go around the outside, and then you're going to remove it from the machine again and trim the back. It doesn't matter what color you use. Trim the back. Back all trimmed. I'm putting it on the hoop, and we're going to stitch this outside border, which I am using black. The next stitch is the decorative stitch around the outside of the, on top of the satin stitch. You can choose to leave that off if you want to, or you can just do it. your design is all done. Just go ahead and trim your excess water soluble off without cutting the stitching. I used a couple scraps to do this of my water soluble, so that's why it looks like such a mess. All right, there you go. So what you can do is you can either take a wet Q-tip and just rub the edges. I always like to just put a little bit of water in the sink and do it with a washcloth, and then you can use it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe.